Ramble.
Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's episode. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of You Can Sit With Us. I'm Matt, sitting next to Maggie.
Hello.
Becky.
Hello.
And Rachel.
Hi.
And Rainie on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s and 5s.
Hi.
And today we're going to war.
War.
Without a recipe.
What is it good for, Rachel?
Ratings. It's good for our ratings.
We have our war expert here, Rachel.
Yeah.
And we have a ton of audience questions. But first, we wanted to check in with you. How are you doing? How are you feeling? How is the prep going? Are you stressed? Are you overwhelmed?
Because you are prepping for this season of war.
Yes.
I'm prepping for this season of war. Guys, the prep starts months in advance. And this weekend, I took 45 years off my life.
Ooh, that's a lot.
What? Yeah, I'm coming to you from the afterworld.
She's got one toe and beyond.
I passed away making croissants.
Croissant?
Oh, is that a
Croissant?
hint as to
Yeah,
what's
are we gonna
coming?
be
Les
making
croissants.
That is not an easy feat.
That's a lot of lamination.
Lamination.
What are you talking about? You just pop the little thing, the little container, they come out.
And you roll
crescents,
them
You put
right?
them down. Yeah. You're really pronouncing crescent weird.
Weird. Yeah, no, I was up till midnight on Saturday, and if you know me, you know I'm asleep by 9:30.
Yeah.
And I was so mad. Rainie, I'm sorry about this. I just kept going, fuck croissants, fuck why'd I choose to do this, fuck croissants.
What? Is that offensive to Rainie? Does Rainie love croissants?
I thought she was gonna have to bleep it.
No.
Baby
No. We can swear here.
Fuck croissants.
You can swear with us.
So what was the worst part?
Well,
Was
worst,
it the laminating every 4 hours?
every hour.
Oh, you do it every hour.
Every
Wow.
hour. So that was the worst part. And
And for those that don't know, not me, I know.
laminating. Okay, so you make a dough, right? And then you take a block of butter, you shape it into like a big square, like the shape of the dough, and
Literally, yum.
yeah, it's really good.
Literally,
you
yum.
enclose it in the dough, and then what you're doing to laminate is you're doing different turns.
Oh,
They're called
Layers.
either a book turn or a simple turn, and then
And
you're kind of
layers.
beating it and then rolling it. And then it goes, you pop it into the freezer for like 10, but then you pop it into the fridge to rest and chill for an hour because you want to keep that butter cold from merging with the dough because that's what creates your flaky layers.
yes. And that's why they have problems on Great British Bake Off when they're in the tent and
Look
it's really hot.
at
Too
these
hot.
layers.
Too hot.
Those are nice layers.
Those are
Oh,
Wait a minute.
beautiful.
It's from the
So
butter.
I'm hearing you made croissants.
Where
Okay.
are
And
croissants?
we're here
I know,
9 a.m.
I know.
bright and early.
With
And
no croissant
with
to
no
be seen.
croissant.
I know.
I'm
Here's the
confused.
problem.
How do you get a thin? I've never made croissants before. I've
No,
only
nor
witnessed-
should you.
Yeah,
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
You can buy one for $4.
I mean,
I can't believe they're not $25 each.
yeah.
Mine would be. The therapy I need for making these croissants. Guys, I lost my mind.
And we're going to
Why
bring them
are they
out
not
right
here?
now.
Okay, I wanted to bring them to the podcast. Here's the problem. It
I
only
ate
made
them all.
8.
Oh.
8?
That long?
That long?
It only made 8.
You should have
So
doubled your
June and
recipe.
Poppy had
I was
2
gonna say,
last
there are
night
only
and
3
2
in your
this
house.
morning, and that's 4. Kim, Watson, myself. I'm
Who
sorry.
had the last? Who
For
had
the last, that means there's one left.
Kimmy just had one. I brought one to Nick. June and Poppy split one last night, and I brought one to Nick because he asked for one on Friday. I had sent a video of the girls making croissants to the guys last night, and then I accidentally texted them and said, oh, hey, I can't use the oven or stove for a couple hours, so could you go pick up Home State for the girls? And Keith was like, well, I can, but did you mean this for me? And I was like, no, I definitely meant for Watson. Sorry.
He's like,
Sending
it might
Keith on
take me a
errands.
while.
He was like, sure. But they were proving for 4 hours
Gotta
last
prove.
night. And I couldn't use the stove or the oven because you don't want to, because they were in the oven, but you don't want to turn it on. So I was like, guess we have
They're
to have
just
Home
in the
State.
oven with no temp.
Big bag. Do you do that? The proven bag?
I don't have the proving bag. I just used the same plastic wrap to wrap the dough and then to cover them. But you take a frying pan and you fill it up with water. You get it simmering. You pop it into the oven and close it. Let the water cool down, but it creates a humid environment. And then you temp it. Make sure it's only like 75 degrees or so. And then you put them in there for 4 hours.
So you want it to be swampy.
Yeah, not so much, but a little bit.
You want it to be swampy.
Moist.
Everyone loves when we say
The
that.
best is to put it in a proving bag and then you put it in the sun.
Oh.
You can't control that temperature.
No, but it's
Your
the
butter's
natural
gonna
elements.
melt.
It's gonna be amazing.
No, Matt,
how
don't
the
listen.
That's how the cavemen did it, Rachel.
That's what I
they
do at
put it
home.
in their proving bag.
The cavemen definitely made croissant.
They definitely do. So you're trying
Okay.
to tip us off that there's gonna be a croissant challenge in this.
I'm going to figure out how to get them to do it. It's a lot of little steps, but we'll make it work. Yeah, so
They're going to
here's...
flounder. They're going to flounder.
Oh, it's
I
gonna,
don't even know how I would approach that, and I just listened to all that.
Yeah, it's going to be like macarons. What's lucky for them is due to all these little steps, they'll get a hint at what they're supposed to be doing at each step because I'll keep giving them like little bits of time. But yeah, they're going to fuck it up. And
That's hard for people who know how to bake.
yes. And quite frankly,
much
they
work.
totally failed at macarons. And when I made macarons, I was like, oh, this is pretty easy. But they couldn't do it. And I think this is incredibly difficult. So they're going to have a hard time. But you know what that makes for? Great TV.
Great
Excellent
television
TV on your computer.
on your computer.
On your computer. We want high chance of success and high chance of failure. We love it
Right.
all.
What would you do if everybody failed? If everybody
Oh, they
made
have
something,
all failed.
but no, inedible, fully cannot serve to the judges. Rar.
Rar.
I don't know. They all had raw cinnamon rolls because none of them let them bake, and the judges just kind of ate them and ate the outsides.
And that's why we never see Johnny Cakes anymore. That was his last appearance.
It's like I can't do this anymore.
Thank you for your sacrifice, Johnny.
No, I mean Keith did once give Roseanne Pansino undercooked pork, but none of us knew that it was undercooked because it was inside a dumpling. So she saw for herself and didn't eat it.
Yeah.
But no, we wouldn't let them serve anything dangerous. Like this is coming up on a special little second try tidbit. But when Zach's illusion cake, when the berries looked moldy, I tasted them myself. I just grabbed a moldy berry off and put it in my mouth to make sure it wasn't moldy.
Oh,
It wasn't.
okay. Quality
what
control
was it?
over here.
It was
Why did it look
turned
moldy?
blue by the amount of chemicals he put in, baking soda, baking powder. And our culinary consultant, they said, I don't think that's mold. And I said, yeah, it's been frozen since it was baked. It wouldn't make any sense for it to
Oh,
be
I see.
mold.
Yeah.
But it looks so much like mold that I was like, I just got to be sure before I serve it. So I just tasted it because you'll
the
know
Hunger
the
Games,
taste of
Rachel's
mold.
Yeah, it tastes gross.
I wouldn't have died. If it tasted like mold, I would have spit it right back out. I think I did spit it out, but then I knew how bad his cake was, and it was truly.
You spit it out for other reasons.
But it tasted like chemicals, so I was like, oh, it's like a chemical burn.
Ouch. On your tongue.
Jesus.
No, sorry, no, it didn't chemical burn my
What's
tongue.
going on here?
It chemical, like the baking powder, baking soda, the
Yeah.
copious, way too much amounts he put in, chemical burned the fresh raspberries.
I see.
So they turned this blue, but it straight up looked like mold.
Yeah. Well, that's gross. So, Rachel, you do
Moving on.
you do a lot of AMAs on your Instagram at Arcole about war.
Yeah, people are curious.
People are curious, and that's why we thought, why let you have all the fun on your Instagram?
Yeah.
Let's use it for content.
We want to be in on the fun.
Yeah.
Let's get in on
And
the fun.
it's an excuse to just like have you in the morning, which is
yeah,
always
yeah,
a treat.
yeah. It is a treat. It's hard to get here by 9. Bravo.
Well, and
Bravo.
also forcing
You
the
did a great
boys
job.
to be like, you don't need Rachel this morning.
Yeah.
No,
We
no,
love
no,
it.
No,
We love it.
no.
Yes.
She's busy. You don't need her. So we have a couple questions about production.
We have many questions.
Honestly, people are very, very
We have
curious.
very many questions.
Okay.
Yes.
We're going to jump right into the pre-production, which you were kind of talking about. What does it look like when you're pre-producing without a recipe? Currently, you're testing out a recipe that you want the boys to do. Do you already have an idea for what the theme's going to be? Do you have an idea of what items and ingredients they'll have?
And when do you start planning?
Yeah.
I start planning
You know?
ideally 3 to 4 months in advance, but The summer season we did, I prepped in 2 weeks. So it's been much shorter. And actually the first full season we did, I came back from maternity leave and they were like, we want to do war for this winter. And it was already like late September. And I was like, this winter? What? Okay.
You were like, February?
Yeah. But no, ideally 2 or 3 months for prep and then 3 to 4 months for editing. So it takes a lot.
Oh my gosh.
The first things I do is I pull a slate of episodes that I want to make, like episode themes, what we're going to make. And I check the virality, the trendiness, like the SEO words of them. And then I also start to make all the recipes as well as schedule it out because I need 4 to 6 recipes that I could schedule for basically to make twice within a week within a block shoot and also judge.
Rachel's
So-
a method producer over here. She's making at home too.
I can tell you why I make them, but it's like you need stuff that takes a long time to make, or that's sometimes really fun and really exciting and challenging. And then you need stuff that you can make really fast to balance it out. Because if it was all croissant level, we'd be here for 4 weeks and we can't really afford that.
Oh, it takes days.
It takes days. But luckily, like looking at what I was doing with this, it's like I can make a lot of other things while we're making croissants because a lot of it's resting time and downtime.
So that's probably something that the audience doesn't know is that you'll be filming and the boys will be working on 2 of the different recipes at once.
We block shoot everything. So we do all the interviews at once. Then we put them in the same clothing, the black shirts, the aprons, so that we can block shoot almost all the cooking and run through it.
And for those who don't know what block shooting is.
Block shooting is when you shoot like things together to get them out of the way. So if you had 2 scenes in a living room, even if they are at the beginning and the end of the movie, you shoot them at the living room together so that you never need to come back to that location, right? So we do that for a few reasons. One, like keeping the cameras in the kitchen all day prevents the crew from moving around, which saves us time. And then when we block shoot judging and get into that setup, we can save the judges time as well, like Rosanna Pansino's.
So they're not sitting around forever.
Yeah, so they're not sitting around. The exception is when they're making food that doesn't sit. Boba.
Ice cream.
Ice cream actually will sit in the freezer pretty fine. But like once they made the hamburgers and made the tacos, we got to serve those.
Oh,
They
so
can
you
make
don't
the
want a mushy
tortillas and the
bun.
buns in advance, but not that.
Yeah.
So you have to really balance out like what gets served hot and what sits really well, like cookies, cupcakes, cakes. Those can all be served the next day.
Croissant.
Croissant.
Awesome.
So when you're talking about you check the virality of a concept, how do you do that?
So I will look at the Google. Well, first of all, I'll go back and look at the analytics of all of our without recipes and try to decide why something is as viral as it is.
Numbers game.
And sort of look at like the back end. And then I'll also go to Google to the SEO word search and I'll compare things. So like on Friday, I was just looking at like what is more viral, wedding cakes versus house cakes versus upside down cakes versus 3-tiered cakes. Is the word 3-tiered cake more viral than wedding cake? What about 3-tiered wedding cake versus just cake? And I'll look at last year, last 2 years, last 3 years. And it'll show you a graph. So you can sort of see.
Which do you think is more popular?
Do you know the
Oh,
answer?
yeah. Do you know the answer? Should we take a guess?
Yeah, let's take a
Okay.
guess.
I'm probably going to guess wedding cake.
I really like the upside down.
I'm going to go with 3-tier is the
So-
viral word.
Cake is just the most viral, but wedding cake is second after that. And now you could guess that that's because if
Upside
people,
down 3-tier wedding cake.
if people are going to Google about a cake who aren't bakers or don't do that, like they might be Googling about their wedding cake, right? So you can like guess a little bit, but also, that's very Pinteresty more so than like, I kind of wanted them to make house cakes, which was a Great British Bake Off thing.
I was like, what is a house cake?
It's a cake shaped like a house. It's like a cross between a gingerbread house and a cake, but there's no gingerbread. You know what I mean? But it looks kind of like that. I mean, we could still do it. It might be really fun, but it's certainly not
hard.
the most. Yeah, it's really hard.
I want them
It's
to do
certainly
the
not the most
tennis-
trendy.
The tennis cake. Do you remember that one? I thought that was a bizarre cake.
It's bizarre and so hard. Yeah, maybe they could, but they would have to do different sports or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a lot of fondant.
Yeah.
A lot of fondant.
So then you're all prepped. You're ready to go.
Yeah.
How much food do you have to have on hand, like ready?
We have a
I
whole...
feel like there's so much food that you see, so many ingredients.
So our culinary consultant, Nikki, preps a basic pantry, and then we have 2 sets of rolling racks, and they fill out the racks per episode, and we roll them in and out, which is part of how we switch between episodes so quickly. So one will be prepped for dumplings and one will be prepped for hamburgers, and they buy everything we need. Everything the guys request, I work with them on what all their creative is and ask them for ingredient lists. And I'll Google and sort of check around to see like what they're often making things that have never been made, but like what they could possibly need for what their idea is. And then we buy as many red herrings and dupes as possible as well. So if a recipe calls for using pectin, we'll also get gelatin and guar gum and xanthan gum and jello, and we'll just get a whole variety of things in that area and pop them all on the shelf.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. I spent so much time with friends and family and doing things, and I never really stopped to take time for myself. It's so easy to get caught up in what everyone else needs from you and never take a moment to think about what you need from yourself. But when we spend all of our time giving, it can leave us feeling stretched thin and burnt out. Therapy can give you the tools to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. Therapy is really great for self-reflection. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to become the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. Therapy is for everyone. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/sitwithus today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/sitwithus.
Have you ever not had something and been like, Jack, go to the store. We forgot XYZ. Because it sounds like so many ingredients to keep track of.
I know. Nikki's job is huge. We have only, and they'll prep out our pantries. And then while I'm shooting all the interviews on day 1, I'm constantly texting them being like, and Zach just mentioned, peppers in his recipe, and I'd never heard of peppers before. So they'll come up with things as they talk about it. Yeah. No, we've never missed an ingredient, but while they're cooking, Zach will be like, do we have Oreos I could crush? And I'm like, no. And either Zach will go like check out Crafty, see what he can use there, look in our like Try Guys regular pantry, or he'll do without them. Or if there's enough time left in the challenge, we'll send a PA to go grab them. Because they come up with stuff as they cook that we couldn't have predicted or whatever, But no, if they ever request a super special ingredient too, like bull testicles, we order those well in advance and like we source all of that. Cute. That's
Cute.
your man.
Cute.
He wanted the bull testicles.
I know.
And we could only order like a pack of 50. So we had like 40 more sitting in our freezer for so long.
Still?
No. We eventually got rid of them.
You
guys
could have just fried them up. Had like fried Fridays at the office.
Most of the extra food gets taken home by the crew at the end. It's very cute during wrap. Nikki will be over there being like, who wants some chicken? Anyone want cheese? And like handing out like all the extra. The bull testicals.
There are no takers.
No takers.
No
That's
adventure
surprising.
takers.
That's surprising.
I mean, is it? Rainie, would you have?
No, I don't.
But isn't that a Colorado thing?
It is recommended oysters.
You're from Colorado.
Yeah. I don't know how to cook them.
Have you had them before?
No, I haven't. Have you?
No, but I'm not from Colorado.
I know. I need to have it. Yeah.
No, but I really think it's like a mental block. I mean, I'm vegetarian, so I can't talk about it. But
a lot of the foods that people don't eat, like the stomach and like brain.
if you were just, but yeah, if you referred to like, what is meat? Is it muscle?
Muscle and
If you
fat,
called it, would you like some cow muscle and fat? You also might be like, I don't know.
That's a cheeseburger.
That's
Yeah.
That's a cheeseburger. Has there ever been a time in war where something's gone so downhill so fast that it was like unsalvageable?
Start over.
Like one comes to mind is Zach during the live. His churros were just like, there was just no way. Like you're watching it and you're just like, that's not going to work, number 1 and 2. You're not going to have anything to give the judges.
Yes, things go downhill really fast. And the thing that I remind the guys of, because sometimes they'll get actual sad, and I really only mean Keith.
Well, it's because he knows how to cook.
Wears
Yeah.
his
He
heart on
gets
his sleeve. You know,
disappointed. He
wears his
gets
heart on his sleeve.
disappointed.
I
It
know
is
when he was
when
the
he flies
saddest.
too close. It's the Bloodsoes.
Yeah, and that's because he made like just a pivotal meat mistake, putting the pineapple with the meat the day before.
Yeah. But his noodles also had to sit out for a whole day.
I mean, he also heated his cheese sauce way too hot and kept it too hot. And he was like, it won't come together. It won't come together because it was too hot. And then once it cooled down, it got better.
Burbling.
But he couldn't save that meat because it sat with pineapple overnight, which is the same mistake Zach made on dumplings when he put tofu and pineapple together overnight. And it was rancid tasting.
I remember
because
that.
it like...
Yeah.
Pineapple
it
juice,
burned
like-
it.
Now you loved it. It was so good, wasn't it?
yeah.
You can't put stuff with
No
pineapple
comment.
overnight. It'll eat right through it.
Like it'll eat through trash bags sometimes. Like when I cut pineapple and I like put it in the trash, I'll like lift up the trash and it'll be like.
Pineapple's eating you as you're eating it.
Yeah.
My favorite thing to watch kind of go chaotically was Eugene's boba.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Oh my God.
Oh, the Newtonian.
I know. Well, see, I think
That was science.
yeah, that was science.
Science.
Keith and Eugene weren't sad then though because they knew they had no shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think they only get sad when they think they have a chance.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, or they make like a genuine mistake. But the thing I remind them of is that it's not a restaurant. It's not a bakery.
they don't
We're
actually
making a
get a
TV
prize.
show. We're
They
making a
literally don't get a
TV
prize.
show. The new non-Newtonian fluid, great TV.
Yes.
Bad boba.
Bad boba.
Bad
I mean, it
boba.
really is without a recipe.
Yeah.
You know, like they don't know how to do the thing.
They don't know how to do it. And okay, I made croissants yesterday and the day before. If you ask me to do it now without a recipe, it would be hard.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
You
God.
could do it.
No,
Yeah.
I couldn't. I
Measurements
could not.
are important. Ratios important.
Yeah.
What's the saddest you've ever been for the guys?
Oh.
What moment made you go, oh no?
Keith and Bloodsoes.
Keith and Bloodsoes.
Also,
Keith and Bloodsoes made everyone sad.
it made everyone sad because it just looked sad and Keith was sad.
Yeah.
was
He
real
loves
sad.
that Bledsoe guy.
Yeah, he
mean-
He loves
loves it.
Kevin. Is
Bloodsoes
his name?
is
He was just like, I
delicious.
can't believe I served Kevin. And I had to look Kevin Bledsoe in the eye and serve him this. Like, embarrassing.
It also just, he probably should have just taken the meat out of it. I don't know. It was
Scooped
just sad.
it.
When Keith's macarons like disappeared overnight, that was pure joy because like, how did he do that? Like no one knows. That was just incredibly strange. It was unbelievable. We weren't sad then. And then it was fun. And then Eugene's sad. He kept getting his fondant wet and sculpting it, and then it just fell apart. You're not supposed to get fondant ever wet, and it was just like a mess. And he looked at the modeling chocolate and was like, no, it's too chalky or something. And I was like, nah, Eugene. That was a little bit sad. But he pivoted and got it together.
How hard is
Yeah.
it to not go, ooh,
Don't do that.
no, don't do that.
Not for me. I'm making a TV show. For
Yeah.
Nikki, our culinary consultant, they come and whisper in my ear and they're like, that's not going to work. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I know. Just let them
Do you
live.
ever, or does anyone on set ever like try to put them in the wrong direction? Like give them bad advice on purpose?
They
Try to
always
sabotage?
They wonder if
Jonathan's
I'm giving them
standing
bad advice. They're like, are you saying that for good or for evil? And they don't really know. I'm
Are you saying
usually,
for good or
And
for
she'll
evil?
never tell.
I'll never tell. I'm not that evil. Although sometimes.
Sometimes.
Do you ever have to make adjustments same day of? Like I know there's certain time allotted for certain steps. Like is there ever a time where you have to make like a huge adjustment and
Yeah, I think it's Zach who's like, who watches the watcher? Oh. And I'm like,
Who watches the
Mistrusting over
watcher?
here.
Yeah, well, they shouldn't trust me because if it's going really well and everyone's just smooth sailing, I'm going to cut their time way down. And like pressure them. Like I'm trying to build drama and stakes and like have them make mistakes and have them, like, and if someone is really struggling and they're on the precipice of like getting it done, I'll add time too, I'm also not trying to make all of them fail all the time. And I'm certainly not trying to make any one person fail.
Yeah.
But, if they're just chuckling along, doing their jokes, cooking slowly, I'll be like, stop farting around and get to it.
You're like, you're being too slow, 10 minutes off.
No, I don't tell them. I'll just be like, 30 minutes left. And they'll be like, what? How?
Who watches the watcher?
Who watches the watcher? Because I'm trying to like certain steps, it's fine for them to be taking their time. But if they just have like plenty, I don't know, there's just like a sense you get of like, oh, we need some like stakes to this. Get to it, boys. And so I'll just like, and I won't cut it down like 20 minutes at a time. I'll cut it down like in 2-minute increments. So it happens slowly over time.
Yeah.
And then it'll put the pressure on a little bit more.
Yeah. Because we've all done some of the cooking challenges before. Like I
What's your
remember
favorite one to do?
we did the wheel one. What's it called? I forgot.
Tri-wheel.
Tri-wheel.
Yeah.
Tri-wheel, mystery wheel.
Mystery wheel.
Mystery wheel. Yeah. And
What'd
I had
you
to wear a
cook?
big hat.
Yeah.
Sunglasses the whole time.
You're shady. A shady baby. I prefer to judge.
Even the cooking stuff?
Yeah, I hated doing all that cooking stuff. There was a period of time where like everyone was going out of town and like some of these videos you'll never see for reasons that we've talked about before. But there was a period of time where Keith and I were cooking like once a week. He was like, can you come in and do this cooking thing? And I was like, I hate
It's
it.
really hard. They make it look so easy, but like as soon as a camera's on me, I'm like, oh my God, what do? I just need to focus on cooking. Like I can't
Yeah.
make jokes right now. Don't get away.
I know.
It is harder, especially because like when you're at your own home and you have all your own things and gadgets,
And you know where they are.
and you know where all your ingredients are, and you have your own like tricks and stuff, and then when you come here, it's totally different.
I think the hardest thing about here too versus home cooking is like I know my oven runs a little hot, so I'm always going to turn it down a little bit. I don't know what the fuck that oven's doing. I don't know what the fuck that induction stove is doing. Those hot plates kill me. I'm like,
Well,
what
I was
is
trying to
this?
make candy the
Oh,
one
yeah,
time,
that
and the
was
hot plate wasn't getting hot enough, and I'm like,
subword.
I'm failing. Why am I failing? This shouldn't be failing. And it's because the hot plate literally wouldn't get hot enough.
It was broken.
Wow.
Like a lot of hot plates have like,
I've told Rachel this on set. I'm like, this isn't doing what it's supposed to do. And you know what Rachel, like, she like smirks at me and she's like, a good chef never blames their tools.
Never
I'm like,
blames their
I was like, no.
I do agree.
Oh
The
my
inductions are not as fun or good as fire, but they're the only safe thing to use on set. And we did, after whatever, we bought the most expensive, nicest, highest rated ones. They're just still like a little finicky.
They're just hot plates.
And
Fucking hot plates.
a couple of the things we own, a couple of the cast iron things are coated and they won't turn them on. So you just have to watch for that too.
because you shoot them all here at the office. Yep. So what is the setup like? How long does it take to get everything looking perfect? How big is the production?
And how annoyed is the rest of the office when
Yeah.
they can't use their coffee maker?
They can't use anything.
Bar.
Well,
They can't walk by.
Rainie can't make eggs.
go to the bathroom.
do you make eggs in the office?
I have, and it's been, I've been sort of reprimanded.
Should we call Devin in?
Reprimanded because you didn't make them for everyone, or reprimanded because it smelled like eggs?
I'm going to be honest, I didn't clean it. I didn't clean up afterwards.
But you had a good reason in your heart for not cleaning it, which
It
I was
a
like,
hot stove. It was a
stove.
hot pan.
hot pan. What's she gonna do? Put it right into the sink? No,
Yeah.
that's not good for it.
It's going to warp it.
But yeah, I think also they were just like, that's a very intimate food to make at the office.
Intimate.
I will say this office has very sensitive sniffers. I made popcorn once, which it's in the office. Popcorn is in the office, available for you to make
in the cupboard, yeah.
in the cupboard, and I made it.
You got in trouble.
And one Mr. Miles Bonsignore kept commenting all afternoon about how much it smelled like popcorn.
That's
And I
not a
was like,
bad smell.
It's popcorn.
It's a good smell.
in the afternoon.
Make you feel like you're at the movies.
Afternoon snack. I mean, it might have been like 9 a.m. Okay. It might have been breakfast popcorn.
Broccoli, a different story. Popcorn,
Yeah.
not so bad.
Fish.
Fish.
Has anyone ever made fish in the office?
I don't think we had
Only
fish.
for shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, how nasty does it smell?
my
after
God.
war?
Yeah, is there
You
going to be any
guys.
seafood on this season of War?
It's not the seafood. It's not even the baking and like the burnt stuff that they make sometimes.
Trash.
What is it?
It's the sausage.
Oh.
It wasn't the raw meat. That didn't smell so bad. It was
The casing.
the casings are animal intestine. And at one point we walked outside. We had like wrapped up. We were closing down the office. Whoever was last on set and I were walking outside to lock the door, and we walk outside and we were like, oh my God, something died out here. Something died out here. We had just gotten used to the smell inside. And then when we went out, it was just the bus tubs that the casings had been in smelled like a dead animal.
Oh.
It's really a plus
I mean,
one.
It is.
Plus one for vegetarianism.
Yeah.
The animal casings
So
were
that
the
was the
worst
worst.
thing that's ever
I've
smelled.
smelled those aprons after they got like buttercream frosting.
Yeah.
You could never salvage
We get
those back.
new apron. We dry clean the aprons in between episodes so that they're all pressed and nice. And we have about 1 million black shirts, but we get new aprons every season, which is why we don't use the nicest ones, because they get cream on them and you can never get that out.
Yeah.
Ugh. What's your favorite thing that you've ever eaten that they've made? What's something you were like, holy shit, this is good? Because you taste things.
I taste some things.
She's like, I try not to taste it.
I try not. And they're very cute. Like while we're cooking and stuff, especially between takes, they'll be like, taste. Here, Mom, taste. Because I think they
Did I do
start to
good?
get proud of like the stuff they make. What was the best thing I've ever eaten? The ice creams they made were really good. Not for ice cream cake. Not the ice creams for the ice cream episode. Those were horrible. But the ice creams themselves for ice cream cake were exceedingly delicious. Like even Keith's, even though he lost because he put frozen white bread in the middle of his cake.
Yeah.
Which is what he wanted.
It was he did what he said out
He
to
did
do.
what he said he was going to do.
He did it.
But have you ever taken a piece of white bread out of the freezer and just eaten it? It's not a pleasant experience.
I like Eggos out of the freezer. I would eat like an Eggo
Cold?
cake. Yeah. I think that would taste really good.
That's
Never
a you
tried.
thing.
Yeah, just try it. Next
Okay.
time you have an Eggo, it has to be a real Eggo though. It can't be
Like
knockoff
the
Eggo.
organic.
Yeah, it can't be a healthy Eggo. It needs to be Eggo.
Eggo.
Kellogg's Eggo.
Okay.
Waffle?
Yeah.
Is
You
it
just
because
eat the
it's
waffle frozen?
frozen? Why
Frozen?
wouldn't you toast
From the
it?
freezer?
I toast it sometimes, but sometimes just a little like
Wants
snap.
to make sure her teeth work.
It gets soft like the minute it goes in your mouth. It's
Is
like
it,
having like a pastry.
It is not like
It's like having a croissant.
Is it sweet already?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. It's
That's
sweet.
why it's
Yeah.
the good one.
It's
Okay.
like cold sugar.
It's like cold
Candy.
You could also just have ice cream.
What have the rest of you guys? You guys have judged? Have you tried any?
I've never judged.
You've never tried any?
I judged the dumpling.
Matt was judge.
How was
They were all
it?
pretty bad.
Oh no.
Zach's was definitely the worst. Like, I don't think anyone even
Pineapple.
swallowed it.
Oh, that was the tofu pineapple.
Yeah.
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 Which
Don't do that.
even just sounds like a bad combination.
I mean,
You know?
he had me taste that filling. He was like, "What is that?" And I was like, okay.
Mush.
I can't tell you, but yeah, the texture is also gone because the pineapple ate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the only one that I've tasted.
Who?
Those
What other?
dumplings.
Who won that one? Which one
Eugene.
was good?
Eugene won.
Eugene, because he fried.
Nepotism.
Well, he
Surprise,
fried
surprise.
his dumplings,
Surprise,
which was
surprise.
smart because everything tastes good fried.
Right.
The most success they've ever had is like donuts because everything tastes good fried.
And sugary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've judged other cooking shows, but not war.
Oh.
So I've judged best friend versus husband makes
Oh,
my
yeah.
favorite food, and then
And that's when I
mom.
won. Yeah.
That's when Matt won. And then
For-
no, wait, I don't think he won.
no.
I think Keith won.
Keith's
Trying to
doing.
rewrite the narrative, Becky. I'm rewriting the narrative.
And then Keith and my mom did a contest for
Potato soup.
Potato soup.
So if you're judging, are you being honest? Or are you thinking what's interesting? What's a good answer? What's a good win?
No, I'm honest.
Matt's brutally
Usually
honest.
pretty honest.
You'll tell it like it is.
Yeah.
You did good.
You did good.
Try harder.
That's what we tell the judges on war too. We're like, all you have to do is be honest. You don't need to sugarcoat it for them. Just be honest with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say though, it's sometimes in the game episodes when we play games, not with food particularly, I want someone else to win. Like I don't want
You don't want.
like Keith.
Oh,
or
you don't want
Eugene
Keith winning.
or Zach to win.
Oh,
Like when we did the stoner trivia, I was like, I'm going to win this one, even though I didn't.
Well, with
You know what I
trivia, you either win or you don't. Like, I agree that, especially if there's a prize, it's really fun for non-try guys to win. But like, trivia, you either win or you don't. There's no.
I don't know. There's
know
going
it
to be
or you
some
don't.
controversy coming up when a sleep trivia comes out. I'm not going to say someone was robbed at the end, but
Yeah,
Dun,
yeah,
dun,
sure.
dun.
there was
Sure.
there were some mathematical inconsistencies.
We played for fun at the end with extra points, and then we just
It was
undid
a
the whole
mistake.
game.
It
We ruined the whole
devolved.
game.
It
We were like,
devolved.
We ruined the
let's
whole
just
game.
add more points to this one, and it totally flipped who won and who lost.
Whoa.
And we were
Whoops.
like, oh no,
Oh well.
oopsie.
Cute.
Would you
Cute.
ever judge war, Rach?
I did once for ice cream cakes
did.
because one of our judges woke up with a fever.
Oh no.
No.
So I tried to get someone else in last second, but couldn't. So I was like, let's go.
I'm
Happy to participate.
So I did once, but in general, I don't think I should judge because I've seen all the mistakes they make. And sometimes they really get away with those mistakes with the judges in their final product. And other times they don't. And so
You'll have preconceived notions.
yeah, of
You're
course.
not going in with a
I'll know who did it
clear
right and who
mind.
didn't. But sometimes, the flavor is still there, even though they made a lot of mistakes
the
along the way.
burnt flavor never goes away.
It always stays.
What have you learned over the years of doing war?
You
Yeah,
mean
if you could
from
tell
holiday
season-
pies?
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
could tell season 1, Rachel.
Yeah. After having all the experience of war under your belt.
What advice would you give her?
What advice would I give her? To get this kitchen sooner. The most expensive and hardest part of Without a Recipe was finding a kitchen.
Yeah.
Really?
And we shot in some awful spaces just with no
remember.
AC and lots of dogs barking right outside.
No
because it had a
appliances
kitchen.
too, right?
Yeah, and very few appliances. Not enough running water. We had to bring in our own sink on the side to wash all the dishes.
That
It
is
was
so
crazy.
weird.
Oh, because
Bizarre.
a lot of kitchens that you could shoot in for this were $10,000 a day. They were so expensive. There aren't that many kitchen sets that you can just rent in LA.
Yeah.
I swear I've seen them all. And they're very
Start renting a
expensive.
kitchen.
Let's rent this one out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Easy.
Sure.
Sure.
Okay,
So get a
crawling
kitchen.
into your brain, Rachel. Rapid fire pop quiz.
Okay.
How would you react to the following scenarios? Okay. Number 1. If someone lost footage for one of the camera angles, what
Don't
do you do?
bring that bad karma into
What would
this.
you do? Has that
No.
ever happened?
Not on war, but it's happened on other things, and I cannot talk. Don't knock on everybody. Knock on
Knock
wood.
on wood. Okay, I didn't know.
That is
We knocked.
bad
We knocked.
juju.
Bad juju.
Yeah.
I reject that.
Nobody's losing nothing.
Nothing.
If there's not enough drama going on screen, what do you do?
I'll ask them for a song. I'll ask them questions about the cooking that gets in their head. I'll shorten the time. Sometimes I just let them cook for a bit, but if it goes on too long, then I'll be like, why are you taking the time to measure those out? Or why do you? And they'll be like,
For just a second.
That's
Should I
when the
not be doing
mind
this?
games come
Yeah.
in.
yeah, just
So
a little.
you're the little conductor for all the little songs?
Yeah. Almost every
Keys to
song
chill.
is because I'm
Yes.
like, hey, Keith, while you guys do that, could you sing us a little song?
Yeah.
You sing us a little ditty.
a little ditty.
Yes.
Keith's Pop-Tart sets on fire in the toaster oven. What do we do? Has there ever been a fire?
Yes, Eugene's Pop-Tart caught on fire, legitimately. We it was the sprinkles on the top. What we did is Jonathan held the fire extinguisher nearby, and then we told a camera to get in on it.
Come here, get it.
That's great
Be
content.
safe.
Has anything caught fire in the oven? I think Zach or Keith's pie crust on holiday pies, one of them was smoking. Oh, I know what it was. It's because I can't remember whose, but I think Keith's was dripping down into the bottom of the oven when it
that's
melted,
the
and
worst.
that's what was smoking.
Yeah,
So I got a
that's the
camera in on it. If it's a small
but then it flavors
fire,
that crust, and then it's
yeah,
ooh,
it's not good.
no bueno.
I think, we've had no major fires, but we get a fire extinguisher on standby and we shoot it.
Great.
I mean, there's sprinklers in here, you know?
Yeah. We don't want those going off. We have a very expensive camera package. That's like hundreds of thousands of dollars of damage.
Whoa.
How involved are you in the editing process?
I mean, I watch down all the cuts, and I usually walk Devlin or YB or Skylar through what went on set ahead of time. And like everything that comes out of Second Try, I watch all the edits and leave notes. So do the guys. I would say the whole structure of the entire show was really sort of developed in the first couple episodes, Pies, and then the next season by Devlin, Keith, and I. Mm-hmm. Devlin's a huge voice on the show, and over the years, all the other editors have, been able to follow like sort of the footprint he set forth, both with the graphics and the scoring and just the structure of the edit. When we get into cooking, when not, and that, very heavily involved in the edits. It's really good.
Usually one editor per video.
There's one editor per video, and I usually, I'll go through and call out moments that I definitely want in there, or I'll be able to call out like mistakes they're making and pair that one for one with the professional and stuff like that.
And if you guys ever want to watch some of the editing process, YB does really interesting videos on her personal YouTube channel where she shows the editing process and shows the different layers.
And you can see the timeline.
Yeah, and you can see how she's building the episode out. So really check those out if you're interested in the editing process.
Yeah, it's a lot of cameras, so it's a big edit.
Oh, yeah. So are you taking notes like while on set of like, this is what's good, or are you just remembering afterwards?
So the reason I bake all the recipes in advance is so that I have like a muscle memory for how to make the thing. And then I don't have a scripty taking notes. I don't have time to take notes. So I just remember. And then once we've shot all the episodes, then we go and do the demos. And so then when I go and do the demos for that episode, I just remember what they did wrong. I wonder if I age, if I'll be able to do that, or if someday I'll need a scripty. But so far, so good. Literally, I'll watch them make illusion cakes for like 2 or 3 days, and then 2 weeks later, I'll go and shoot the demo with Johnny Cakes, and I'll just remember what they each individually did, right and wrong.
Yeah. And then you're asking Johnny Cakes like, I know this is important. Like, how do you translate that to the question?
So, let me think about something. Yeah. So fondant, for example, Johnny Cakes would never think to say, don't dip your fondant in water. But I remember the way Eugene was dipping it in water and stuff. I would say, okay, when you're working with fondant, what are the do's and don'ts? And he's rolling out his fondant and he's telling me, I'm like, what would you do if it got wet? And he's like, oh, don't ever dip your fondant in water. And I'm like, got it. Or with someone I work with less, I'll be like, I know this sounds strange, but can you just say and absolutely do not, pipe your churros directly into the fryer? Actually, that's fine, but not if you want them to maintain a straight shape. But can you just say that? And they will. And then I get those 1-for-1 cuts.
Yeah, which expert have you learned the most from? Because you get to see a lot of experts.
Yeah.
I see all the experts.
Yeah.
I mean, the way Monique Chan works with pastry is incredibly artful and beautiful. And I just love eating pastries, so that's something I would love to make more of.
So do you do creative first, or are they like the creative comes with the recipe?
Oh, so I'm choosing stuff we're going to make this season. Spoiler alert, croissants is up. But let's say it's like croissants, cupcakes, cookies. CCC. I tell them that like I probably run it past them a month beforehand, and then like 2 or 3 weeks beforehand, I'm like, okay, I want your creative for it. And they come up with their creative for the season. And then I give feedback on their creative. So some of the things we're looking for is for everyone to have distinctive dishes from one another. So like if 2 people are doing chicken muffins, for example, that's something that happened. I warned them, like, that's what's happening. Yeah. Do you really want to do that? And 2, I don't want everyone to have a really, really, really strong storyline, like Savor the Summer, pop music things, Evil Eugene, Daddy's Favorite. It's too much. It's like you're memeing everything.
Yeah.
And there's no baseline. So if someone has a really strong idea, like I'm going to make everything cinnamon raisin flavored. I'm like, that's baller. You're not going to win with that. That's incredible. Let's go. And then I try to, or if someone's just really excited about their idea, I try to bring everyone else back to just like picking stuff they like for something. Because they can't all do that, you know? And so they pick their players for the season. Like you guys each get to pick. So if I said the episode is tamales, you need to each come up with what are your tamales going to be.
And Rachel, we did actually come up with those.
Yes. So first, let me ask you. We'll do this like pre-thoughts. What's your creative?
Oh. Who wants to go first?
I feel like not a lot of people have done like sweet tamales, like dessert tamales. And I feel like that would be a great market to break into.
Okay.
So when I think of corn, what goes good with corn? I would think like maybe some cinnamon, some more nutmeggy, maybe a little caramel sauce in it. Doesn't that sound great?
That sounds good. What's actually kind of crazy is we did not talk about this before.
Did Becky do a sweet one too?
I thought, look, we have sweet corn tamales, right? They're delicious. But has anyone ever thought, because my theme of the season as the candy queen is to bring candy back.
As if candy
Starburst inside of.
So we've never made, you have sweet corn tamales, but what about a candy corn tamale?
Whoa.
Where we incorporate candy corn
I'm
into
really
the
upset. I didn't think of that
mozzarella.
because candy corn's one of my favorite candies.
Yeah.
I'm really upset now that I didn't think
Hot
of that.
tamales is a hot sauce, right?
Yeah. Here's what I will say. You have to make a savory one now because candy corn is so much stronger than
I'm being Nick.
Suck it.
candy corn is a strong creative for tamales.
It's a strong flavor.
Thank you.
Yeah,
What do you got to knock it out,
I don't
Mags?
necessarily think it would taste good, but it's strong creative for the show.
I think it would be delicious. Okay, you need to reframe your pre-thoughts about it. Okay,
I don't get pre-thoughts. Don't worry. Mags, what are you making?
Yeah, what you got?
I think I want to use purple corn as my masa, just for color. I like color. And then I would like to do toasted quinoa on the outside. So I'd have to kind of take the clothes off my tamale for presentation, and then use a kind of like a pepper aioli. And then mine's savory. I like texture, like almost like a crisp. Toasted
question.
Toasted
Like a fried
crust.
tamale.
If your clothes are off, if it's not in a husk, is it a tamale?
Well, you take it out and then
there.
you put the toasted quinoa on top, so it's kind of like breaded.
And then do you put it back in?
No.
how about you just do?
You're
naked.
playing a risky little game.
When if you just did the toasted quinoa on the side as like a dip? So they like take it and dip it in.
I like that. So 2 different dips. So we have the pepper aioli plus.
Yeah,
the
they can make their
toasted quinoa.
own, so it's like an experience.
Okay, there.
Yeah.
Booyah.
So now it can stay in its husk.
So for my rethought out
stay in
one,
his-
maybe I would lean in to like my Italian roots and do like a meatball-ish inspired one. And have it be more like Italian flavors. And then you could dip it in like a marinara type sauce.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
And you like making that. I feel like it's got to be hard to like make some. Like I remember I had to make the beer cheese dip with the fucking clams, and I was like, I don't eat clams like this. And I was like, I'm not trying this. I told the judges, you don't have to eat it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it doesn't taste good.
Did you see the beer cheese, Rach?
I think I drove by.
Oh, God.
Drove by.
It was stinky.
Yeah, I can't believe it had clams in it.
Yeah, it was a lot.
That's what the wheel. That's what the wheel dictated. The twisted tea wheel.
The wheel is out of control.
It's chaotic.
The wheel's gone wild.
Yeah.
wheel-
It really
Gone wild.
derails you.
Yeah, it does. And on without a recipe, like you derail yourself.
Yeah.
I think one of the worst
True.
moments actually was when Zach tried to grind uncooked octopus for
I
sausage.
remember that. It was rough.
The octopus juice that came out, I was like,
Well,
no,
you
no,
just
no, no.
is just like goop anyway. You can't, like-
Yeah, it would not grind.
No.
He could have done it if he had sauteed it first and cooked it and then ground it and then barely cooked the sausage. But it wouldn't work, and it was one of the more tragic things I've seen on the show.
Yeah.
I mean, octopus is hard. You're supposed to like beat it for like.
Yeah, think
know?
about all the the movements.
Yeah.
No.
No, octopus is hard, and it smelled like animal intestine in there. So it was truly the worst of all time.
Strong constitution.
I know. How are you making candy corn?
Well,
You get the candy corn.
you get the candy corn from the store, from the candy corn fairy who drops it off.
But you got to get the premium candy corn. You can't get like
it's not going to be
the
cheap
wax.
candy corn. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's all wax, but
and then you're going
Like, it's
to
not.
boil it.
I actually don't think I'm going to boil it. I think I'm going to smash it.
Okay. But then you
I
got
think
to.
if you boil it, it's just going to turn into wax because it's mostly.
It's
Okay.
good. You're gonna make a candy corn
You're gonna-
candle.
Yeah, it's going to be a candle that you can light on fire. I think I would smash it in like a bag.
So you are making a candy corn flavored tamale with smashed candy corn.
Because you want it to be soft and then you want it to firm up. Right?
So you're mixing corn and candy corn.
Yeah.
How do you
I'm going
think
to
that's
combine
going
them
to
in a food
taste?
processor.
I still, as a producer, fully support this idea, but this is one of those where you're like, how'd they taste? And I'm like, I don't know.
I
So
think
what is the flavor of candy corn?
Yeah.
sugar.
Sugar.
So I'd find something to like balance that sugar out.
Like
The hot sauce made of hot tamales. And that I would melt down.
Whoa.
whoa, wait. Candy corn and hot tamales together? Hot corn tamales?
Yeah, I'm hoping the candy corn flavor would soak out and the hot tamale cinnamon would infuse.
Tell me what soak out is. What is that process?
Cook out, cook out the way you cook out the alcohol.
When if you
Cook out
soaked, when if you soaked the husk in something that was candy flavored, like you added it to the water.
Oh.
So like the hot
Like
tamales
if I made a
in there or
simple syrup?
something, so then it would like soak it in, and then it would, the flavors would get into the husk, and then the flavors from the husk would get into like the corn.
I love that, so I'm actually changing it. I'm going to make a candy corn simple syrup. Okay. I'm going to use a cup of candy corn, a cup of water. Boil that shit down. Soak the husk in that for an hour.
And then on the top, I think you should do when you're serving is like shaved candy corn or grated candy corn on top. So it's like, it looks like Parmesan cheese, but it's
Imagine
not.
a little mandolin and like a single candy corn. I'd have to use like tweezers.
That'd be amazing TV. You're welcome, Rachel.
I would
You're
lose a
welcome.
thumb.
Yeah, that is great TV until she loses a finger.
Honestly, you should make cocktails after with the simple
Make
syrup.
candy corn flavored
And then you can
cocktail.
also mandolin some.
I'm hearing
candy
everyone
corn.
loves candy corn now.
I'm hearing
Thank you for
everyone's a
coming to the candy corn camp.
I really couldn't think
This
of any
whole
other
episode
corn.
is just a marketing ploy for candy corn.
Hashtag sponsored by candy corn.
Oh, here's the number one question we get. Do the guys Google beforehand?
I know the answer for my partner. I don't know for a partner that's not.
Eugene does not.
Zach does not.
Keith does not.
Yeah, that's right. And everyone's like, but how do you know that? That's the number one question I get when I do my little Instagram thing.
Zach's thing is
And-
it's not fun.
Yes.
It's like
Keith
the
and
entire
Eugene's thing. It's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not fun. The three of them and I are in cahoots together to make a great TV show.
Yeah.
So we're all going to do our part for that. I'm going to give them red herrings. They're going to come up with wacky creative. I'm going to support them through that.
Yeah.
They're not going to Google it. We're in cahoots to
No.
make a great show for you.
I also feel like none of them are like good actors.
Yeah.
Like they're good at acting like themselves, but like if you asked Keith, Eugene, or Zach to lie,
Yeah.
it's like pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Like
That's
even
true.
when you're watching a video, you
Yeah.
can tell when like they've already said a line maybe once or they've been prompted to say something. So I don't think they would be able to get away with it
Yeah.
No.
if they were Googling.
Why are you concerned? There's no prize money. There's no integrity here. We're just making a show.
All the
So
food
Eugene
looks
doesn't know how
bad.
to cook.
Yeah.
It all looks bad.
Like, watch Boba. They clearly didn't Google it.
Yeah.
No.
The only reason Zach had a shot in hell is because he had made it once before.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only reason Keith's turkey was good is because he has made that turkey before.
Yeah. Anyway.
Amazing.
Yeah, that takes the fun out of the whole game.
Amazing.
I try to get Zach to cheat sometimes when we're like playing board games with my family. I'm like, hey, I can help you. And he's like, no, stop.
Maggie, you're trying to corrupt him.
Yeah.
You're trying to corrupt him.
Maggie's like leaving recipes open on her phone and just like leaving them on the table.
Yeah, Yeah, you don't
She's
want to watch
like-
someone succeed.
She's like, I heard when you make croissants, you have to let them rest for an hour in the fridge every time before you have
I'm
to
just gonna
laminate it
whisper
7
as
times.
he's going to bed at night.
Did you know?
Don't forget
know?
to proof.
Did you know?
You're just going to his phone so that it'll start advertising to him.
Yeah.
Croissants, croissants,
Yeah,
croissants.
like the subliminal messages in Josie and the Pussycats. I'm going to put that on his audio.
Trust me, even if they don't forget to proof, they ain't got a shot in hell. I barely could do
No.
it with a full recipe and a Claire Saffitz tutorial.
Without a recipe, ain't a shot in hell. Coming soon to a theater near you. Well, Rachel, that is our time.
guys.
Thank you so much for sitting with
so
us.
fun.
Seriously.
Thanks
We
for
learned so
answering-
much.
Yeah, thanks for answering all of our audience questions.
You convinced me that you could be on the show someday with your candy corn idea.
No. I'm more of the idea person. I don't want to put anything to
I
fruition.
think Becky would make a great
Addition.
Addition. Yeah.
I think I'd be a good judge, so I'm always available.
Sure.
If anyone gets sick.
If
If anyone who really knows how to cook gets sick.
Yes. Like when I made Garrick fill in for the LA Times food columnist.
Yes.
He was
my
like,
gosh.
oh shit. Big
Like,
shoes.
I guess.
Big shoes.
But let us know in the comments what other shows you want Rachel to answer some questions on, because Without a Recipe is not the only show she produces at Try Guys.
Truth.
Though it takes up a large part of her brain. It takes a lot of time.
It does. All right. I'll make you chocolate croissants for next time.
Ooh,
You heard
pan au
here
chocolat. Pan au chocolat. I'm
You'll have to
ready.
fight June and Poppy for them.
That's fine. They're short.
They just need like one bite and they're like satiated, you know?
Yeah.
We need at least 2.
They ate that whole thing.
We're adults.
Yeah. I would like you to tell June that.
All right, guys. Until next time, make sure you're washing your hands, tipping your servers, getting vaccinated for all the things you need to get vaccinated for, being nice to people, making chocolate croissants for your friends. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.